She told me not to come back.
Who did?
My friend.
Yellowjackets. After Ty and Van found Javi, he doesn't really speak much to anyone, not even his brother, but the few things that he does say is what we saw in the intro when he was speaking to the coach Ben. But he says that she told him not to come back and then he calls her my friend. So let's try to figure out who he is talking about. Well, in my videos about the cabin guy, I talked about how Javi's friend could be the daughter of the cabin guy, and we talked about how he could have killed his wife and his daughter as well, and that could be the reason why Lottie said bad things have happened here when they arrived at the hut. And also she explained that she had a close connection to death, so it all adds up a little bit. But his daughter could be the one who warned Javi not to come back, because at the time the Yellowjackets were all going insane and turning on one another and also feasting on human flesh. But if she was just another ghost or spirit, that would not explain how he was able to feed himself. We can see a lot of small bones in the cave when Coach Ben arrives to hide everyone. I personally think this might be one of the times where it could not be so supernatural. I think it was not the cabin daughter but Ty when she was sleepwalking at night. She could have also tracked where he was, and she could have been the one that was killing animals and feeding it to him. She instead could have been the one that had warned him about not coming back, because she would have known about all the things that were going on at the hut and how everybody basically almost turned crazy. But when he returns, Javi is basically mute. And like I said before, what could have happened to make him this way? It could have been how long he had to survive by himself, or did he actually, or does he still actually hear a female voice in his head? Maybe the time he spent alone could have caused him to go a little bit crazy, and now he thinks someone is talking to him. And it's also pretty possible that he actually was seeing a hallucination and seeing a girl that was helping him and keeping him company and stuff like that. But at this point, I think a lot of things in the show are on the supernatural side. So as we know, this show likes to use Greek mythology to get inspired to create their show. But we have talked about the connections between Persephone and the Melissae. But Coach finds one of Javi's drawings, and it seems like a tree at first, like tree roots. But the more you look at it, you can kind of tell that there's like a woman in the roots here. So I looked up tree spirits in Greek mythology and found out that they do exist, and they're called dryad. And I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but they are forest nymphs, and they are associated with oak trees most of the time. But they are depicted as a beautiful young woman who lives within a tree. It also says that their life is connected to the tree, so if the tree dies, they will also. I found out that dryads are also connected to Artemis, which is the goddess of the hunt, and also the wilderness. So that can explain how he was able to find food, but also they are protectors of the forest. So that could be another reason how he was able to find food and why she was protecting and helping Javi. But it could have known that there was maybe another force, an evil force that was taking over the hut and the Yellowjackets, and that could have been the reason why Javi said that he was warned not to come back. Or it could have been the Antler Queen as well. But again, this actually could be Ty, and we do know that her son Sammy did call her the lady in a tree, and she would climb the trees as well. So it could just be like symbolism or a metaphor for that, or maybe even foreshadowing. And that could be another example of maybe she was the reason that Javi was able to live, because of her watching over him. But do you guys think we'll get more answers on how he survived in the wilderness, possibly in season 3, and maybe Coach will survive in the same way now that he inhabits the cave that Javi was in? But we'll see how everything unfolds. And also, spoilers ahead, but after finding a giant pit with military rations in them, he turns the pit into a trap, and I'm hoping he was building it to capture more food like animals and stuff like that, but not the other Yellowjackets. And real quick, do you all think this pit could actually be the pit that they use to start hunting humans with, like the scene we see in the beginning of the show? They do look a lot alike. But later in the episode, Mari runs away from their camp after Shauna spits in her food, and they get into a little bit of a heated argument. And at the very end of the episode, we find that Coach has captured Mari in that pit that he made. But in the next episode, he feeds her some hot chocolate, and as she's drinking it, he starts to freak out, and he says that he's trying trying to think like he's talking to someone in there. It sounds like he's talking to someone in the cave with them. And Mario looks over and we can only see a shadow of Coach, so it does look like he's the only one in there. And at first I thought I realized that he was probably a little crazy now after being by himself for all that time, surviving on his own. Also, and he's probably also worrying if the Yellowjackets would find him and then eat him after what he saw, what they did to Javi. But when Coach found this place, it already had bones of animals in it, and it looked like, from what we know, that Javi was probably surviving in this cave before Coach arrived. But we also know that Javi had someone he was talking to as well, and he had that picture of the tree that looked like there was a woman morphed into the roots of it. Also, Javi came back different. Also, maybe he was driven mad by the voice that he was hearing, but maybe it wasn't a voice, maybe it was like someone actually there or just an hallucination. But it probably happened because he was by himself for all that time. And I do think that Javi was alone longer than the coach, so whatever the voice that they hear is the cause of them that's going insane in the first place. Even though Javi said it was trying to protect him, it seemed like, at least, because it told him that he shouldn't go back to the hut because at the time they were going through a bunch of crazy stuff. But like I said in my videos about Javi, it seems like it was trying to protect him, but maybe this spirit or figure is just trying to keep Javi out of the way so he wouldn't interrupt the girls eating the human flesh. And the same could be said with Coach as well, if it's the same thing that was talking to Javi and helping him. But also I wanted to say that in my video about Javi, I talked about how this drawing and this person or entity could be a dryad, and that is a tree nymph from Greek mythology. But if it is this, then everything it has done means that it actually is trying to help them survive. I talked about how it could be Artemis, the goddess of the hunt and wilderness, but I don't think that she has anything to do with Javi or the coach, maybe more with Aquila. Also, there are scenes in the teaser trailer, I believe, where Coach is screaming and it sounds like he says, "What is going on?" So could this be the same person maybe he was talking to in the second episode of the season? Or is he just going crazy? And it does seem like that he's in like a isolated, really, really dark area. So maybe he actually is captured by the Yellowjackets. But honestly, things are not looking too great for him. He has captured one of the Yellowjackets, and they also think that he was the one to burn down the hut. And Misty realized that Natalie is hiding information on Coach, so she told Shauna about it, and they're keeping it to themselves for now. So it doesn't really seem like that he is gonna have a good time soon. And also Shauna is on a warpath, so I feel like they're definitely gonna find him. But let me know how you feel about the Coach's situation. What do you think he could be talking to? Is it the same thing that Javi was, or is he just a little insane now? And if you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to stay tuned for my upcoming videos. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everyone.